We're going to be working on your President's Quiz Take 2, and it's just an extenuation of our President's Quiz, this tutorial here. So the President's Quiz Take 2 has a downloadable template, but it is just the same place that we stopped with the first one. So if we go into the specifications for this particular application, we're going to be dealing with a list picker in this lesson, a list picker component to provide choices to the user. So instead of the user typing their answer in an answer box, they're going to be provided a selection, a list of choices to choose from. We're also going to be working with defining a define and use a new programming abstraction, which is called a list of lists. You want to click this link here, watch this YouTube video. This is a preview of what the application will look like when we're all said and done. As you can see here, there's no text box. So this is a list picker button right there, that choose answer. Okay, so if you want to download your template into your app inventor, it's going to start off looking exactly like we had before in our President's Quiz Part 1. This is just the starting point that we're going to have for this particular application. So now then, we need to code up the behavior. So remembering last time that we're using a feature called indexing to match up a question with an answer and a picture. They're all stored at an index. So maybe at index 1 we have a question. For instance here, we have a question possibly, which president implemented the New Deal during the Great Depression? That's at index 1. At index 1 is a picture that has Roosevelt in that. And if I choose my answer, Roosevelt needs to be one of those selections so that we can have those choices. So now we're going to be using a list picker to answer your questions. So what we need to do in the designer, we need to remove the answer text box and answer button from the user interface and replace these with a list picker component. The list picker has a button associated with it, and when the user clicks this button, a list of choices is displayed. We need to set the property of the list picker so that the associated button reads choose answer as in the above picture. So it says choose answer. To learn about this, we're going to create the first version that allows the user to choose one of 3 answers that are the answers from the first 3 questions. Later, however, we're going to improve this application so that there are different answer choices for each question. So let's work on our user interface for just a little bit to get that updated to where we need to be. Like it said here, we need to remove the answer text box and answer button. And we need to put in a list picker. And we want to have the title read choose answer. As such. Now on the back end, we have to deal with this list picker. It has 2 very important event handlers, before picking and after picking. Before picking is triggered when the user clicks the list picker button and before the choices are displayed. In before picking, you're going to specify the items that are going to appear by setting the list picker elements property. In this particular one, we're going to set it to our answer list. Okay, before picking, the elements of the list picker are provided by the global answer list, which we have down here. So every single question will have the same exact answers at this point in time. So no matter what question we are going to be posing to the user, it will always say the choice is Roosevelt, Carter, Nixon at this point. Now then they have the after picking component, after picking feature of the list picker component. And in this particular one, we need to compare the answer that you've selected and to see that if it matches up with the answer that they're the correct answer using indexing. And if it is correct, then you're going to report to the user, correct, good job. If it is incorrect, you're going to say, sorry, you blew it. So let's code up the after picking feature now. I'm seeing something here that I'm not quite liking. I'm going to rename my list picker to match up the specifications. We're having kind of a mixture here. It's answer list picker. I'm going to go back in and rename that so that makes it a little easier on us. List picker, we're going to rename that to answer. I want to read answer list picker. Okay, now immediately I go to my blocks and these should be now updated to match what we have in our specifications. Okay, remember this is after picking, we're going to be comparing the answer that the user selected to the answer at the provided index. So we need to select a list from our answer list. And we're going to get it at that index, the answer from that index that we are expecting it to come from. If it's correct, if this answer that they selected matches up with the answer that's been identified, then we need to tell the user correct, else we need to say, sorry, something, try next time or something. So what we need to now go to is your correct label, and we need to set its text to read something out to the user. We're going to have two different reports here, so I'm going to do two different options. I'm going to duplicate it. Okay, so if they are correct, we need to reward them with something like correct, good job. If they're incorrect, we need to provide them that feedback. Sorry, you blew it. So now we need to test our app to see if we are set at this point. Okay, so here we are using our application. We have a picture with a question. Which president implemented the New Deal during the Great Depression? I'm going to choose my answer. It was Roosevelt. Sorry, you blew it. Well, I need to go back in and recode my, somewhere there is a bug there, so let's take a look at that. I see the problem right here. It isn't my selection index that I'm looking for. I'm just looking for the selection in general. So it can, these answers can be compared to a selection. Let's go in and reconnect and see if we've got this working. Okay, let's choose to see if maybe this is right now. Roosevelt, now it does report out correct. Good job. Next, we'll advance the index of the picture, the question, and the answer. All those have been indexed now. So when I select this list picker here, it is going to register my choice and compare it to the answer that is already in the background. So I say Carter, so it says correct, good job. If I can go back in, choose a different one, it reports that I blew it. So now then everything seems to be functioning well. The problem being is right now our multiple choice answers are always going to be Roosevelt, Carter, Nixon. It gets real boring and also not very challenging to the quiz taker. So we're going to provide some more options, more elements in our list picker here for them to choose from. Right now we need to begin by creating a new list. We need to initialize a global variable block and then name it answer choices. Make this variable a list variable by making it, giving it a make a list block. Now you have a new variable called answer choices. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to find multiple choices for this each question to be provided to the user. And you can add more to these and less by using the settings wheel here. You can add more items or whatnot. It doesn't matter what order you put these in or how many that you have. It is comparing your selection to the answer at the index that's already been pre-programmed in. So you can mix and match these around. Just make sure though that you do have the correct answer somewhere in one of the choices. Otherwise, every time they answer, it's going to be wrong. So we need to code up our answer choices variable. Okay, so we're making our answer choice variable. We need to remove this one here because we're going to make a list with various lists of lists in here. So we have one list here of answer choices that has lists within that. So we're going to be making lists of lists. So I just want to add one more item to each of these lists, and then I'm going to just duplicate out several of these. I made a mistake there. This should be like that. We don't need a single list. We're making a list of lists. And now you need to code up some choices. And I'll do that here for us. Here's our answer choice variable. It's a list of lists with various answers in here. Now, you can add more or less as long as you have the correct answer in there, and they probably should have more than one to choose from. Some of those parameters are important. So we do need to change right now because right at this point in time, our previous application, it just simply, before it loads the answer list, which is gathering these answers right here. So what we want to do is provide the user with these answers over here to choose from. So the way that we do that is we're going to swap this out. The after list picker elements are going to be loaded by your global answer choices at the index. So that's how we're going to do that. So going back in here, we need to set our elements to select items from a list. There it is. No. In there. Okay, so after we have picked, we've loaded our list picker elements to get our answer choices at those index 1, 2, and 3. So let's connect this and see what we have. Okay, so here is our application. We have now a question. Which president implemented the New Deal during the Great Depression? It's going to be Roosevelt. So we open up here. Now we do see some new answers. Truman, Roosevelt, and Lincoln. So let's see. Roosevelt being the one we entered. Correct. Good job. Let's choose one of the other ones to see if this is functioning. Sorry, you blew it. Next, we have a picture tied to a question. Which president granted China formal recognition in '79? We're going to go here. We have Bush, Carter, or Reagan. I'm going to say maybe Reagan. I'm wrong. I'm going to say maybe it's Carter. Okay, we are cruising right along. Which president resigned due to the Watergate scandal? Choosing my answer, it's we could say maybe Nixon. Good job. And then our index is advanced back to, by using the next button, our index goes back to 1, so we repeat the quiz. Looks like our application is running smoothly and as expected. Let's go in and look at our specifications to make sure that we're doing. And so it looks like that is the end of our specs for this particular assignment. So there we go. A quick tutorial on your President's Quiz, take 2.